Hey lovelies, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. So Nene had a few interviews recently. I want to talk about some of the things that I picked up from the interview that I just thought was interesting, and we can get into it. But before that, if you're new to this channel, you're welcome. I do reality TV shows, celebrity news, so hit that subscribe button for more videos like this. Also, everyone, please like, share. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. These are free ways to support the channel. Now let's get into it. So for those of you who may not know, Cynthia has a podcast that she does with Crystal called Humble Brags. And they had Nene over there as a guest recently. And Nene said some things that I really wanted to talk about, especially because I feel like we've had a lot of newbies this season. And as you guys know or may know, I've had conversations where I talked about how I feel like a lot of the newbies are taking notes from previous housewives as opposed to being themselves. Now let's get back into Miss Nene for a second. Nene basically talked about how she was the first housewife to be cast. At the time, she didn't think the show was going to be as big as it is. And that when she came on the show, she wasn't worried about anything. She just showed up as herself. And that then became the blueprint. And I think that's one of the reasons why we love Nene. Because I think we genuinely can see that she's authentically herself. Right, wrong, indifferent. She's always been very transparent, brought her full self to the show that we absolutely love. And also think about how she reads the girls down, right? Facial expressions, the read be landing. And then if you compare that to a lot of the newbies, you know that it's just not the same way. And it was interesting that Nene was saying about some of the iconic lines that we've heard her say. And I love that she gives credit to who credit is deserving of, right? Where she said a lot of them came from her mom's sister. And she didn't know like those things are lines that people will grab onto and then it becomes a whole thing. Now, I will say she definitely makes them land well as well. So I think that also helps. But in the recent seasons with like a lot of the new housewives, she can tell when somebody is saying something they hope would be a thing and it feels so rehearsed. Now, this is exactly how I feel with the newbies. I feel like a lot of the things they say are not organic. The things that they say are things they want it to land. It's rehearsed. Like, for example, Kelly was waiting for her moment to say 11 months. I was married for 11 years. You were married for 11 months. You can tell she was waiting on that because she just kept on trying to misunderstand and create an issue when there was none with Portia. So I feel like that's an example of someone trying to get attention. They want to have, like, they're sticking to the script. It's almost like you were home, you planned a script of what you wanted to say beforehand, and then you got to the opportunity to say it, and you're like, yo, even if the opportunity is not presenting themselves because this person seems to be nice now, I have to insert it and create an issue. That is what it felt like. It felt very rehearsed. And that's how a lot of the reads feel. It feels rehearsed. It's not landing properly. It feels like these people watched many seasons of Real Housewives of Atlanta and they were taking notes about who they wanted to be on the show and decided to come and perform for us. The whole point of it being a reality TV is so that we can see and experience their reality. We can see them and genuinely relate to some of them, right? But we can't relate to people who are rehearsing stuff and it's not organic and they're like, no, I'm gonna say this, I have to say this, let me land one point. Girl, please. And I think it's interesting that Nene has also spotted that. And that's what I think about, like, the vets can see what it is, the OGs can see what it is. They see it from a mile away. And that's why, in my opinion, Portia was just like, I'm not about to go back and forth with you on this. I'm going to just give you that one because that's what you want. Because if you guys even notice, she looked confused. Like, why is the chihuahua coming for me? We ain't got no issues. So what's the problem? Now, they talked about the friend contract. I feel like anytime Nene and Cynthia are together, they will always talk about that friend contract. And they talked about how iconic it was at the time. Then she also talks about people are attacking Shamia by calling her a lapdog, and Cynthia had gone through something similar as well. But she used to tell her like she's not a lapdog at all. My thing though is Cynthia was not behaving the way Shamia is behaving. I'm gonna have to respectfully decline on that one. I feel like Cynthia was genuinely a cordial, chill friend. I didn't feel like she was out here riding for Nene like that. It just felt like they had a relationship, but I didn't feel like it was out here like Cynthia was like, no. But Shamia, go just do what it do and sit on Portia's lap. Like, that is what is absolutely given, because it's like Portia ain't even checking for you like that. She ain't even talking about you like that. But every single time Portia's name stays on your mouth, that's why people are calling her a lapdog. And also because like it's not just that, it's everything. Like anything that seems like it's Portia's issue, you make yourself the forefront of it. Like the whole Drew situation, Portia told you to leave it. She didn't want you involved, yet you inserted yourself. So it's like you created this narrative for yourself. And now you hate that you're being called a lapdog. It's like, honey, what did you expect? You created this for all of us. Anyways, moving forward, Nene was asked about her acting roles. Apparently, she was even in Glee. I did not know that. Where have I been? I did not know that. But anyway, apparently she says that her favorite role has been Broadway roles. I can totally understand that, especially someone who's very expressive and all of that. I can imagine how Broadway would be something that would be a really good fit for her. And she definitely made it clear that she opened up the way for other housewives to get into that scene, like Candy. I'm like, okay. Nene really doesn't like Candy. And I'm like, I don't know what it is between them, but Nene definitely does not see it for Candy. Never has, probably never will at this point. She did also talk about how she was asked to do Traitors. I think she would have been really good at Traitors. I do think she would have been good at Traitors. I feel like she would bring personality. Also, it's been a while since we've seen Nene on our screens in that way. So I would have loved to see Nene on the screens. That said, Portia is going to eat it down. So it doesn't matter. Hopefully Nene gets her opportunity. It is very sad that Nene wasn't able to do Traitors because of her son being unwell. But I do hope that he is getting better. He's recovering and he is in a better position soon. So you guys make sure you are praying for her son. Now back to this whole Traitors thing. I personally feel like Portia would do a good job of it. I don't know how long she's going to last on the show, but I think she will do a good job of it. She'll bring the fun personality. I think it's her opportunity to redeem herself before the new season of Real Housewives of Atlanta starts. I think the reunion is redeeming her in a sense because she apologized, she's taking accountability, and she is holding the reunion together. So I think if she does Traitors and does a good job of Traitors, then the same way Phaedra had people talking about her as a result of Traitors, I think Portia may get that. And then moving forward, when she does come back on Real Housewives of Atlanta, the fan base would not be so angry at her, provided she does not do things to anger us moving forward. And interestingly enough, I think Nene actually talks about Peter Thomas. And I think that's interesting because if I'm not mistaken, I was scrolling today and I saw that Nene interviewed Peter. So I'm like, that would be interesting. Now, I don't know if it's going to be worth my time, but maybe I might have a look at that. And if you guys want me to talk about it, then maybe I will talk about it. But Nene was basically saying her and Peter are like frenemies, or they were like frenemies and are not really friends. But I guess now they're like friends, but that can change at any time. Basically, Peter is not stable is the vibe that I got, right? And apparently she talked about hating the things that are happening to Peter and hopes that he comes out on the other side. I agree with that. I hope he comes back on the other side. But I will also say that to be honest, Peter doesn't help himself because he is constantly in the midst of drama. Like when he was trying to get involved in the whole Simon and Portia business, when you're all up in Portia's DMs telling her she cute, heart eyes, all that kind of stuff, allegedly. So it's like, honey, nah, what are you doing? So yeah, I definitely think like that is a little bit weird. But I think it was interesting that she was trying to show us a different side of Cynthia a little bit, because apparently people were talking about how they feel like Peter probably walks all over Cynthia. And I think it's really interesting to hear her say something different, which shows more like Cynthia can hold her own. Cynthia knows how to turn it all the way up if she needs to. And she was like, there was even a point where she thought, oh, Peter was a bit mean. But then she got into like Cynthia, got to know Cynthia, and she was like, Cynthia is even meaner than Peter, right? Like at some point she said she had seen Cynthia basically clear Peter close to tears. And I'm just like, really? What did 50 Cent say to Cynthia? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, girl, what did you say? That's what I would want to know, honey. But I'm not surprised. I think people need to realize that a lot of people have range. Just because someone is so sweet and that's how they usually present and that's who they are normally, does not mean that that is who they are all of the time. Sometimes, they're not here for that. Sometimes they're not playing no games and they're not going to let anyone walk all over them, right? That doesn't mean they're mean. That just means they know how to hold their own when it matters. But aside that, they're generally good. And I think that's who Cynthia is. Cynthia is one of those people who, if you don't start none with her, there won't be none. But if you start it and get her good enough and then she is activated, she is on it. I absolutely would say like I loved Cynthia and Nene together. I also love Cynthia and Portia together. I feel like Cynthia needs an ensemble of people who she feels comfortable with, and her personality shines through a lot more. Portia brings out the more fun side of her. And I feel like I want to see more of that. Like I need Cynthia to come back as a friend of, but I need them to have more scenes with Portia and Phaedra and Cynthia, because I feel like they have that energy that Cynthia can easily bounce off without any problems. And so I think if they want to see more personality from Cynthia, put her around the right people. She is not as fun around like these people she doesn't know. I think with her, it takes her a little bit of time to warm up. So I'm going to need them to bring more scenes of her with the OGs. And maybe bring one more OG onto the show. That way there is enough balance. So there could be like one-on-one meetings with Cynthia and Portia. Then Cynthia, Portia and Phaedra. Then Cynthia and whoever the OG is. And then Cynthia and the girlies. Not me trying to tell them how to run their show, but that's what I think. Now, I want to talk quickly about Nene's interview with Cheyenne. Basically, Dr. Brian, right? She's a therapist, she's a doctor, all that good stuff. She is very popular now in the relationship space. So anyway, she had an interview with Cheyenne where she was interviewing Cheyenne on her show. And I think one of the things that I really wanted to talk about was the fact that the timing of her dating her new man was so close to when Greg died. And I don't think she has really dealt with a lot of the emotions that she needs to deal with. I don't think she has really dealt with those things. I personally feel like there's still a lot that she needs to unpack with that she hasn't dealt with. So she did also talk about like she felt like she had stayed too long in, or she's guilty of staying too long in a situation, even if it's not working for her. I agree with that. And I personally feel like she's doing that in her current relationship as well. Because if you're dating a man that is married to somebody else or was married to somebody else and didn't tell you or even told you, then that man clearly is not to be trusted. And so I don't know why you would continue to still date somebody like that if she has truly healed, right? And I feel like the fact that she got into a relationship 2 months after Greg passed made her reliant on this new man in a way that isn't healthy. It's almost like a bond is now being created, right? Where a dependency bond, where you're now dependent on this person. And it doesn't make sense because it's like, yo, why are you dependent on somebody? But I also understand because she was in a state of vulnerability. She just lost her husband. Then she met this man. And now, boom, in a relationship. But I feel like she needs to go to therapy, evaluate her relationship, deal with the grief, get some grief counseling. And then I think maybe she will finally be able to let go of this no good for nothing man, in my opinion. But I'll let you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that share button. And yeah, let me know your thoughts and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye.